For 3 years, I taught at Edna Carr High School, a predominantly Black high school located in New Orleans, Louisiana. My community inquiry looks specifically into the ideal ELA curriculum and environment of Black students and the ideal training for Black secondary teachers of English. Thinking of Chenoweth's Schools That Succeed and the examination of the misaligned, deficit thinking, and poor instructional and curricular practices within urban schools and their effects on students, I began by interviewing 3 of my former students who I have taught since their freshman year of high school. All of them are graduating this year. These are their insights and experiences and suggestions in making schools succeed.
I definitely don't think it was like beneficial necessarily. Like they did kind of teach the content. It was more like, here's your work, kind of do it. I'm not really going to try to explain it to you. And like, that's it. And then like, they'll throw in like, oh, college is going to do this for you. And you're in high school now, but wait till you get to the real world. But you're not teaching me anything that's kind of like substance for me to bring into the real world. So you're kind of just giving me like a being without like substance, like something like you're just giving me like a seed that doesn't grow.
I'll have to say that, I mean, they didn't really prepare us for anything. It totally depended on your teacher. Like the work wasn't beneficial at all. You had to have a beneficial teacher in order to go the extra mile like you did to provide us with beneficial and information that would relate back to the real world. Because like the stuff we was learning, it was like what Lauren said, I have to piggyback with her. And she said like they just give us the work, do it, turn it in. That's it. Like, and you get a grade for it. Like we don't really learn anything. Nothing is going on in the classroom. The teacher's not connecting with the students. Like none. It's just like sit here, do the work. Sit here, do the work. And I have to say, I'm enrolled in school right now in Texas, and that's where I'm receiving my education. And I have to say the environment is totally different because the money, like the economic structure, like it's totally different. Like we have 3D printers in 2 libraries. We got 2 libraries, 2 gyms. Like the resources is abundant. So I mean, and I get excited talking about it because like I ain't never seen nothing like this. Where I come from, you would be surprised if the computers work and they got 3D printers. Like, come on, man, it's totally crazy to me.
Also on top of having to like know what you're doing, and I guess having like a plan, like, okay, we're gonna start with this, and then we're gonna go to here, and then that's gonna build off of this, and then go to this and this. There are also like some teachers decide that instead of having like, if they don't have a set plan, you misbehave, you're getting out of my class, even though they're not teaching any material at all. Or like, oh, you're talking too much, you're gonna leave. Like they'll use disciplinary actions to hide the fact that they don't know what they're talking about and that they have no idea what to teach the class. So I feel like they use disciplinary actions or like anything else just to distract from the fact that they don't know what they're talking about. And yes, they can have the degree and they can be smart in that subject, but if you can't relay that information to the kids, which some teachers can't, they don't know how to like get their kids engaged, which to me makes me feel like you're not prepared for this.
So basically the books we had to read that were given to us by our like school board, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Not interested at all. They were just written about white dead people, and I could not relate to them. It was not relatable, and to be honest, I was just like, what is this wording? I don't know what any of this is, especially with the Odyssey and everything. It was just very confusing. But when you're at like a urban school, like a school full of just black kids, brown kids, minority kids, it's like you got to give them books that are relatable. And that's what you did, Miss Constance. All this relates back to you. And you took that time where you said, hey, we're going to read this, or we're going to watch this movie and we're going to relate it back to this book, or we're going to write an essay about it and relate it back to this subject. And that was more relatable than the Odyssey and Shakespeare and things like that, because it was just about white people dying at the end of the day. And it's like, what does that have to do with me?
Personally feel like equal representation for like all parties, and I do understand that the white party has like a lot more representation. Like I understand that wholeheartedly, fully, and I'm never gonna like discredit like stuff like that. I just also feel like there should be more, way more inclusion on different types of book, and not even just Black writing, like all kinds. Like I'm just interested in all different types of cultures, and I don't get that.
The work is not pretty much beneficial. You need a beneficial teacher. Like half of the stuff that we were learning, we wasn't supposed to learn about. Like you threw those books on us. You threw Homer and Odyssey on us. Like Homer had to get home. Like, what did you take away from this? Me personally, I took away something from every single book that we read. Like, I feel like I need to take away something from. I need to take a piece of these white men's mind and what they think about, why they writing about this. Edgar Allan Poe, he talking about ravens talking, and then 2020 ravens really talking. Like, come on, like history repeats itself.
I sit with second-year teacher Naima Muhammad, a 24-year-old Nigerian-American Teach for America matriculant. We speak about how she was trained and whether this training prepared her to be an impactful secondary English teacher. Our conversation aligns with Hill Jackson and Stratford's 2017 Better Teachers, Better Schools, where the retention and development of teachers of color are examined.
I don't feel like I was adequately trained in, all right, how to create lesson plans, how to, what is a real what is a real classroom going to be like when you walk in? It was, our training was a lot of, all right, how do we create these different procedures and like hand signals and it was very pretty, it was very colorful, it was very unrealistic. And so I don't feel like I received training. It felt like a month of just, here's how not to, or here's how it's going to feel like to work with like brown children and like children you've never seen before, traumatize their children, and how to be an ally that they didn't utilize. Those of us who would be going into the classroom with students that looked like us, they didn't tell us that, or teach us, or show us, or encourage us to use that. It is, it's awful. And being an English teacher, it felt, every day coming to work, it felt like something was wrong. Every time I opened up the curriculum, I was like, all right, today we're going to be reading about Abraham Lincoln, and we're going to be talking all these like white narratives. It felt so wrong in my spirit, and I couldn't, until my second year of teaching, I couldn't like name it.
In this inquiry, I have found that the experiences of both students and teacher are similar, and that there is a deficiency in the intellectual and professional training needed for both parties to feel ultimately successful. This inquiry shows the glaring need for the abolition of current curricular and instructional practices in order to make Black students and teachers feel valued and prepared.